Hi, I'm Mir Najibi. I'm an actor in Hollywood as well as a stand-up comedian. I'm a jack of all trades, master of one. That's what I do.
What do you think people's first impression of you is?
I think when people first meet me, maybe they don't know what to think. I think I have a lot of layers to me where they'll see I'm kind, I'm respectful, I always treat people well, but I think I always have the natural to try to entertain or make people laugh. So they might notice that I have a sense of humor, or at least I try to have a sense of humor. Because not everybody's gonna like what you like. You know, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. But I think they'll at least say that I'm a kind person, and I'm always respectful and I treat people well.
That's awesome. So you say that you don't think you're everybody's cup of tea. So tell
Yes.
me why you think that.
Comedy is very subjective. You might find somebody funny and somebody else might say they don't care for them so much. And that's the beauty of it. Or even besides comedy, you have drama and things like that. Not everyone's going to like the same actors or actresses or even movies. So that's what I mean by that. Am I everybody's cup of tea? No. But I think I've done some things consistent enough to where I have enough um, people who like my stuff, fortunately, and I think I found a shtick that seems to work, and the feedback has been pretty nice.
Okay, so you answered that from a professional perspective. So tell me about from a personal perspective, um, outside of your comedy. You as Mir.
Meaning,
Meaning, so if do you feel that you as a person, not just your comedy, wouldn't necessarily be everybody's cup of tea?
I'm always following the rule: you treat people how you want to be treated. I really strive on that. I was a kid who got bullied for a very long time, from all the way through high school. So a lot of those things, you don't forget them, and it carries on to where you always want to just be respectful and treat people well. Not everybody has to be friends, but at the very least, when you see someone, you nod, you acknowledge their presence, and you move on.
I like everything you just said. And the treat others as you want to be treated is a mantra I heard from the time that I have a memory. And my mother said that to me all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a hard concept. You go, you say, hi, how are you? You make small talk, and some conversations might last longer than others, but at the very least, um, you know, you go from there and you see what happens. Again, not everybody has to be your friend, but at the very least, they don't have to have any unnecessary resentment. I mean, if they're not mean to you, why do you have to be mean to them?
Agreed. And I started doing these interviews because I think that everyone deserves a chance to share their story and to give people a little bit more of an understanding about where you come from as an individual, and not just that random first impression that you create of someone that you walk by, right? And I often say that being human isn't one size fits all.
I agree.
And so I think that if you can just smile and acknowledge a person as a fellow human being, I think that interaction is a lasting impression and a lasting experience.
People remember how you treat them, good or bad, they always remember. Or at least I do. And my theory on that is, it's not about holding a grudge. I remember how people treat me, so when I see them again, I'll act accordingly. Either I'll be, hey, John, good to see you, or I'll be like, just nod and just move on.
So you mentioned stand-up comedy.
Yes.
Tell me how you got into that.
I've been an actor for as far back as I could remember, doing theater in middle school and high school. But I always had this knack to want to make people laugh. And doing stand-up was actually intimidating for me. It's apples to oranges. You don't get that second chance to do it. You don't get a cut. You don't get a second take. You go out there and you go to that audience and you have to give it your best, and either they laugh or they don't, or maybe you get a little of both, and you just, call it a day and move on and try again. But there's things you can't control. And again, you could think you have a great set and your jokes kill at one club, then you go to the next one, do the same thing, and it might be meh. It's about knowing your audience. I've learned a lot of things. I've given it the respect it deserves, to where my strengths as an actor can help me as a comedian, but at the same time, I gotta understand that this is a whole new beast, and I gotta approach it like that, like I'm a student of the game who still has a lot to learn. I've been doing stand-up comedy But just with anything, you should always still learn. So make no mistake about it. But with comedy, it's really taken me a while to get out of that comfort zone. I love doing sketch comedy and improv. I think those are my biggest strengths as an actor. But I wanted to utilize those to be a comedian because it bothered me that I was too afraid to do it. Because I feel like as an actor, as a guy who loves to be on stage, I shouldn't be afraid. So I kind of forced myself into it, which was a huge leap at the time.
I like that you conquered a fear, because I think that a lot of us don't follow our dreams or a passion because we're afraid.
I've been pursuing Hollywood and acting for 12 years now. I did it in my late 20s. I've not looked back, and I don't regret it. I've missed out on some other opportunities that probably could have been financially benefiting to me, but I don't regret what I'm doing. I know what I want to do. I know what I love, and there are times where you want to explore other options just because you want new experiences. But this journey I've been, I think there's been some things to hold my head up high about, and now I'm finding to stick to where whatever's trending, you make a comedy video about it in hopes that, you know, it can be impactful or make people laugh. And I feel like a couple of them had a decent chance to go viral. At least I'm pretty proud of it. And again, my opinion of my work does not mean anything. Yeah, I'm proud of some of the things I've done, but it's the reactions from what everybody else says. When I post something on Facebook and I get 20 laugh reactions, that's a pretty cool feeling. And I don't take that for granted. And I don't think anybody should, no matter what level you are. When they don't like you, it's like, what, me or who? What, John who?
So now you talk about this journey in acting and the fact that you've done some things that you're extremely proud of, and I know you just talked about the videos that you've been posting recently. What are some other accomplishments that mean a lot to you?
No, what, outside of acting?
Both.
Okay. Well, I went back to college recently. I graduated from Cal State Long Beach and I studied theater, so it kind of correlated, kind of killed two birds with one stone. That was something that meant a lot to me. At one point I was in a really dark place and college just became my escape. I became so obsessed with it. I was retaking classes at the junior college and did as much as I could to take care of previous derogatory marks on my academic records, and I busted my tail and I got accepted, and once I got accepted, it just meant everything. And to be able to get that degree in my hand, I mean, it still gives me butterflies just thinking about it. It was one of the most surreal moments in my life. And this might be something a lot of people will hear this and say, well, you know, I did that at 21 or 22. I did that years ago. You know, here you are doing it later in life. Yes, I am. But it's not a competition. You know, it's something that I always wanted to do, and I was finally able to get it done, and I have not looked back. As a matter of fact, if anything, it made me hungrier for more education. I didn't want it to end, and I'm just trying to figure out what else I want to pursue it in, but I don't think this is necessarily the end of my academic career either.
I love hearing you say that in terms of other people may feel that you did this later in life, so it's not as important, is kind of what I heard out of what you just said. And this resonates with me so much because this has come up in so many conversations, but I feel like we have this imaginary pace car.
We do.
That we're trying to keep up with, and
right.
quote unquote societal expectations. And I think that what you're doing is important for you, and it was at the time that was right for you.
Yeah, and it was so prideful. I'd never been that prideful about anything before. The minute I got accepted, I was getting the Long Beach gear, I was sporting the shirt, putting the decals on my car, and I still do it. I'll never stop being proud of that. And then when my younger niece tells me, I'm so proud of you, Uncle Mir, I mean, that just means everything. Now here she is at Cal State Fullerton studying and willing to listen to me because of the things I know now that I could have known then to help her go on the right path, and she's doing a great job. She doesn't need much of my help personally, but the fact that she asks is wonderful.
What a great connection. So that is something super positive that came out of this, besides just the degree itself and the internal fulfillment. It's built another connection with a member of your family.
Yeah, it's I mean, we've always been close, but I found the respect that I gained from finishing was really something.
Kudos to you and congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. So tell me about something that would surprise people to know about you.
Something that would surprise them about me. I actually have really low self-esteem.
Really?
Yeah. And I think acting has always been my release to overcome that. It took me a long time to like myself. Being a kid who was bullied. I guess there's other stories of this when you hear about Hollywood with some people, but being a kid who was bullied, I didn't like myself very much for a long time. And I felt being on stage was my release. Whenever I was doing a theatrical show or even being on camera, I felt like a different person because you're playing a different person, but it was much more than that. It was my release to just escape the difficulties what I endured. It was something that made me feel good about myself. So this journey I'm on is, you know, it's been challenging. I mean, I'm not the same person I was, and my self-esteem is not as bad as it was. I mean, I'm a much more confident person now, but you still have your moments. You still have those moments where you remember how that feeling was, and you never forget that.
So you talk about having the low self-esteem and how that has improved over time.
Yes.
I see your social media. That's how we connected, was on Instagram. You had reached out to me and had liked something that I had posted, and then we started talking about filming an interview.
Right. Yes, we did.
So tell me what made you want to do this?
I want the world to know who I am. I really do. And that might sound ridiculous to some people, that might sound vain, but honest God, I want the world to know who I am, but in a positive way. It's very easy to get famous for all the wrong reasons. I think we're seeing examples of that nowadays, but I want people to know who I am because I'm proud of who I am, whether it be through entertainment, whether it be through comedy, acting, as a television personality. I want people to know who I am, but in a positive light. You know, I want to be known for being the person that I am, and that might not sound special to a lot of people, but I think once people know who I am, they'll appreciate what I have to share.
I'm sorry, I'm over here holding my breath because your statement means so much to me. I can't tell you. That is why I started doing this, because I feel that everybody deserves to be heard. And what you said was that you want people to know who you are, and that's as a person. And it's great for that from the acting perspective and your craft, but you're still you. You're not necessarily the part you played yesterday.
Right.
So I'm so grateful that you asked me to sit down with you today.
And I'm always about empowerment, not just for myself, but for others. A lot of things I went through made me want to help others, reach out to others, whether it be speaking out against bullying or reaching out to the special needs community. For a long time, one of my other proud accomplishments is I've worked with special need adults for 16 years.
Wow.
And I've done that. I could tell you so many stories of the situations I've worked with and cases I've worked with. And I'll tell you something, no matter what happens in my Hollywood career, it'll never top how proud I am of that. It'll probably equal, but it'll never top it. And I mean, the heart wants what it wants, but make no mistake about it, that's something very near and dear to me. And when I'm where I want to be, you know, when I'm hanging out with the likes of, you know, some of the big names and or wherever I want to be, because everybody has a different comfort zone, I'll still want to be a part of my life. Personally, what I'd like to do is open up a soup kitchen. This might be a pipe dream, I'm going to share it anyway. I want to open up a soup kitchen and have all the staff be people of some type of special needs. Have somebody else run it or myself run it, however it might be, where all the staff is them. So whether it's someone with Down syndrome or autism, whatever it is, they're working, they're cooking, they're helping those less fortunate. And when you give them a feeling of productivity, oh my gosh, I can't even begin to describe how wonderful that is. I think it's a community that is starting to get more attention than it used to, but I think there's still a lot of work that needs to be done.
I'm in. You tell me how I can help when you start that ball rolling.
You know, we might have to talk. It takes a long time.
I honestly, you keep touching on all the things that I'm passionate about. Empowerment, bullying, special needs. I mean, you just ran the top, you know, part of my top 5. So I'm right in line with your vision, and I think that's incredible. And hopefully we can make that a reality at some point. I think that's amazing.
Hopefully. And one thing from working with it for so long is it's helped me develop an understanding and patience I couldn't even begin to describe.
So last but definitely not least, if you were walking down the street just being Mir, and you could hold up a sign that would tell people one thing about you, what would you want them to know?
Jack of all trades, master of one.
Fantastic.